The NSSMP is by far my most favorite series on YouTube to record, play on, and stream. This can be seen that it is the longest running series on my channel. But many people do not know the story of the NSSMP. The concept of a survival multiplayer server built like the NSSMP is a concept that I've been playing with ever since the beginning of the pandemic in 2020. And in this video, I will take you through the story of the NSSMP and how I forged the server we know today. But first, I must take you all the way back to 2020 and the start of the pandemic. I remember going home from the final day of school before March break. COVID was like something we heard, it was on the other side of the world. We were in Canada. It obviously started in China. And it didn't really affect anything, right? But I would say about the last 3 days, up until March break, the last day of school before March break, COVID had become a lot bigger. We had our first case in Canada, I believe, in these few days, and to my surprise, my school would not end up opening until the beginning of next year. I still remember the lockdown days. My schedule followed as such: wake up, log on to online school, eat breakfast and lunch at some point, finish school, play games with friends, do some Lego, eat dinner, watch TV, and then read a book in bed, and then fall asleep. And repeat. I did this for almost 4 months, and it's safe to say I was very, very depressed. But what exactly did I mean when I said play games with friends? Well, at the time, I was very good friends with Spencer and Jacob, or as you might know them as, Beaver 15 and the Prez 1856. Well, they, as in Jacob, were able to convince their parents to purchase a Minecraft realm for us all to play on. When invited, I said, yeah, sure, why not? I didn't realize this at the time, but in about 10 months from now, I would be creating my best survival multiplayer world to date. But how did I get there? We created our first survival world on this realm in 1.15.2. Many old viewers, OGs of the channel, would think that this was Realmcraft Season 1. However, there was actually a world before that. This world was very minimal and nothing really big happened. However, we would still play on it every single day until the point where we didn't really know what to do anymore. It was here where we decided to make the second world, also known as Realmcraft Season 1. At this time, I wasn't really uploading because my channel was only 6 to 7 months old, and I didn't really care when I uploaded, what I uploaded, and I decided to just play on the world and not record anything. I would come to regret this, and over a month later of playing on this world, I decided I actually did want to start making content, and I recorded and uploaded the first episode of Realmcraft. I forget what it was called. I think it was called Late Recording Start. But this video was my most fun, or this time was so fun, and even though COVID, lockdown, whatever, I had the most fun playing on this world, Realmcraft Season 1, than I have on any survival world, and probably the NSSMP don't include the NSSMP. I love the NSSMP more than anything. But over time, Beaver and the Prez ended up getting burnt out of this world, and I kind of wanted to see how far we could take the end game of Minecraft. So, despite my best efforts, we ended up restarting again for the quote-unquote third world, but of course I called this Realmcraft Season 2 because this was the second world that I was actually recording on. Now, we started this world, and it was just a regular 1.16 survival world, and yeah, I started to pump out content. The first week was awesome. I was playing on it so much, we were all playing on it so much. And you can look on my channel and see the videos that I have of Realmcraft Season 2, but if you do end up looking on my channel, you will see the world lasted 2 weeks. Why? Well, I actually have no idea why. All I remember is just checking Discord one time after online school because we always check Discord, and we would go on Discord and just play on the server. And I just remember both Beaver and the Prez saying they just don't want to play survival Minecraft anymore, which was very strange because 2 weeks earlier they were almost begging me to restart the world. This was like the this was like the lowest point I think I've ever been in like my entire YouTube channel. Like if you look right after I uploaded, I don't know if I uploaded any other content, but right after I uploaded Realmcraft Season 2 episode... Did I get to episode 3? I think I did. Right after I finished uploading episode 3, there wasn't like any videos for the next 2.5 months. And I eventually decided to kind of come out of the hiding hole I was in. And I decided I wanted to get back into survival multiplayer. This was around August 2020. But the thing is, I had absolutely no idea how I was going to do that. How was I going to invite people? How was I going to run a server? So I did some research. I found that you can get a very good server from Apex Minecraft Hosting. And Apex is very expensive, but I checked my drawer where I keep all my money, and I saw that I actually had saved up a lot of money from before COVID. I guess I really just didn't have anything to spend it on. So I was able to just like purchase a server. So I'm like, okay, I may as well do this. It wasn't actually until November that I decided to actually like do this, because this was obviously going to be like a huge thing, and it's the biggest thing that's ever happened on my channel. And I decided to send invites out. Decided to send invites out to people asking, A, would they play on the server, and B, do they want me to start a server? I guess those questions are like very dumb. I mean, like, I'm not going to message people and be like, oh, you want me to start a survival server? Anyways. But almost everyone I messaged, I think everyone I messaged said yes. And I was so excited at this time. I gathered everybody. We had almost 20 members at the time. Again, a lot of these members you might not recognize if you aren't OG fans, but if you go back to NSSMP Mega Dirt Hut, the first episode I ever uploaded of the NSSMP, you could see some of the OG members like Frog, Ip the Great, Juicehead, and Beaver and the Prez were also there. Notice I get to like talk about how that transformed into the NSSMP2 with way less members. Like, again, I mentioned 20 members. We don't even have nearly 20 members now. And that's because I put my trust into everybody. But I'm going to be honest, Beaver and the Prez, they're different now, and I know them IRL. They're different people. They're not like... I mean, I'm not really going to hate on them, but they're not the same people that they once were, let's just say. And you could watch the start of the NSSMP, but like literally the beginning, the first 10 minutes is just people killing each other and griefing each other and people stealing things from each other. And I was just like, guys, I was very confused because none of this stuff ever happened. But I was like, guys, why can't this be more like Realmcraft, right? Like, because Realmcraft, we all got along. There was no griefing. I mean, Realmcraft only had 3 members, and it worked really well. Obviously, me, Beaver, the Prez. And I didn't want any of this to happen on my server. I wanted my server to be, if you want, like, a comparison, at the time, I wanted my server to be very similar to the Hermitcraft server, because I was a big fan of the Hermitcraft server back then. I still am, even to this day. And I was just like, guys, come on, let's be more mature. And they really never changed anything. So there was a giant ban slaughter thingy, and I ended up banning over. I ended up just kicking out. Not really banning. I'm not going to use the word ban, but I ended up kicking out over half the people on the server because it just did not get along at all. And I told people what I wanted the server to be like, and people obviously didn't get that. And there were also, I made the very crucial mistake of inviting people who I had never met in real life. and I still stand by that. I don't invite people to the NSSMP unless I've met them in real life, because I don't know them, and one of the people that I never ended up knowing that I invited, it was a friend of I think it was a friend of Spencer's, and he ended up, the first day, he literally x-rayed for all of the diamonds and all of the ancient debris in like 100 block radius around spawn, and he gave it to people, and it was just like, that's one of the reasons why in like the first, or no, it was the second episode, you see people in full netherite armor. That's because he's just giving it out to people because he x-rayed for it. He can afford that. And obviously I banned him. I banned so many people, and the thing is, over the course of time, the NSSMP was looked at more of like a thing I kind of hop on once in a while, but it was never like, it slowed down a lot, and there were only, like, I would say 5 or 6 members that were actually constantly active. And again, at this time, like, I didn't, like, Brachero wasn't on the SMP. I wouldn't meet Brachero until like almost like 7 months later. I wouldn't meet Lauren until like 5 months later. So we kind of just had to figure it out, and I tried working with the guys, and I mean, it never worked out. I ended up just slaughtering a lot of people. Really, it was sad to do, man. And then I figured, like, I started having thoughts like, what is this, a server? Do I even continue this server? I've thought about it so many times. Do I continue this server? And I was having this thought with Daniel when I met him, and I invited Daniel. I'm like, yo, I have an SMP, you should come join, it's super fun, whatever. And we became really close friends, and also Lauren was an active member at the time. Guy of Cthulhu, whatever you want to call him, Mateo, was a really active member. Evan was active with, I don't know, Nico wasn't added yet. But Juice and Cheese were also active members. They were all active members. And I met Brachero, and Brachero's the reason the SMP is still alive today. I was trying to talk to him, and he was like, well, I would play on the SMP, but it's really hard because everyone's in endgame, and I totally understood that. It's not really fair to throw him in there. So he kind of convinced me, but not really. I kind of asked everybody, I said, because everyone was getting burnt out anyways, I said, what do you guys think of starting a new world, like a world all over again? And almost everyone said yes. And I will talk about like restarting worlds, but basically everyone said yes. I invited some more members. I think for the NSSMP2 we had a total of 10 members, I believe. And again, a lot. There was another, 3 of the members just didn't play. 2 more of the members were involved in a griefing, and that left 5 members left on the SMP. And when I kicked out everybody, and there were 5 members, those 5 members being me, Evan, Lauren, Brachero, and Nico, Evan's friend, I really questioned everything. I was like, I talked to Brachero. I just said, what are we doing? This server is not, it's not what anyone thought it to be. And listen, I enjoy it. I always have enjoyed the server. But I asked him, what's the point? It's supposed to be a multiplayer server. We have 5 people. And he told me he told me the thing, and I will always keep saying this if someone ever like says, oh, well, it's not really a big server. I just said, he asked me, Nathan, do you enjoy the server? And I said, yes. And he said, well, if you enjoy the server, then keep it. Why wouldn't you keep it? Money, we don't, I mean, I don't really need to worry about the money. I have the money all paid for and whatever. But, like, he said, why? I mean, there are 5 active members. The 5 active members will play on it. And I was like, wow, you're right. I was like, ooh, yeah, you're totally right. So I will never, like, get rid of the SMP unless, obviously, I move on from Minecraft. But, yeah, we're just going to keep the server. And, like, no one, now that school's started, even now, no one really plays on the server except me and Daniel, and occasionally Evan, and occasionally Nico. Like, Lauren's really busy with school. There's only 4 active members, but But yeah, I mean, I enjoy it and I'm keeping it. That's kind of the point I wanted to get to there. Something about restarting the server. We did restart to NSSMP 2. The reason we did this is because from the start, the NSSMP, like the original season, like it was corrupted. Like stuff had happened already. Like think about it. Think about it. Stuff had already happened. The first time we fought the dragon, people had already been to the end and killed the dragon already, but just respawned it and got like elytras already. That wasn't even the first dragon. Like there had been griefing already. People had lost items, stuff, time. People had like we lost a spawn. The Nether hub got absolutely destroyed, and it was just kind of ruined from day one. Except no one really thought that because these things were minor. So we all really just wanted to restart to get a fresh new breath of air, and a lot of people from SMP Season 1 were just burnt out. When I told people that we're starting a new season, I said, make a list of things you want to do. And that helped people. They made a list of things they wanted to do, and now they're accomplishing them. That's their goal. I know Evan and Nico have so many goals. They want to build every farm in Minecraft. Like, good. This is what we need for the server. And now, current day, people on Season 2 of the SMP are still they're still a little bit burnt out, but listen, you always just need that that one thing and it'll bring him back. It's always like that one mini game or whatever. As much as concluding here, as much as the SMP was not expected, I can't speak English. As much as the SMP was not what I expected it to be, it does still make me think, how did Realmcraft survive all the way back then? And I realized it had three members. So if it survived with 3 members, this server can definitely survive with 3 members. And who knows, I'm probably going to make friends in the future that'll join us. So it'll always be like something, yeah, that is open to IRL friends. And the last thing I want to say is that even though the SMP is small, it's still really fun. And the amount of people does not make it more or less fun. We can always, like Cole, for example, my best friend, Cole. He literally played once on Season 1 of SMP, and that was to win the target minigame. The guy comes in out of nowhere and just wins the target minigame. But, like, he was there, so we had people to play the target minigame. Like, he could come on in the second season to play the target minigame, or to play another minigame. So, yeah. So we can still call people. I know people that would definitely be interested. And, last thing I want to say is, I've sadly lost friendships over this thing, and it's been, like, people have taken it way too seriously than it needs to be. I don't talk to, like, half the people I did when I started it because of that. But you know what? When I moved to, now that I think about it, ever since I moved to a new school last year to start high school in grade 9, I've made up, like, all of those friends anyways. And friendships don't last forever. Maybe some do, but not all of them do. So, yeah. I will continue this SMP for as long as I can. And, yeah, again, I don't know what the far future holds, but I always take school as a higher priority because you have to do that. And I take the YouTube channel and this channel as a second. It's always what I'm doing when I don't do schoolwork. Anyways, that was the story of the SMP, and a lot of information. Like, me recording this is taking like 20 minutes. I might be able to edit it down 1 or 2 minutes more, but yeah, I don't know. I also don't know if I'm going to put like visual stuff. Maybe I'll put, probably not. I'm probably not going to put any visual things. I think it's more dramatic with just a black screen. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.